I came across a bug a while ago to do with the core up here. It actually rotates round and round during the finale, and what was happening is that at the end of the finale it was supposed to stop rotating, but for some strange reason it kept going round and around. I actually have quite a lot of complicated logic in the finale. It does loads and loads of stuff. That's the wrong one. Here it is. Stage 1. This is actually triggered by the button here. But if I go through these logic entities here, you can see all the stuff that happens at each stage. And this is one of the biggest ones. I actually thought at first it was core stage 3 causing it, because you can see the core speed is changed in each one of these. But on this one I switched it to only once to see if that would solve the problem, and it didn't. I'm still not quite sure why. I thought it was because I had some extra logic going on for when the tank arrives for the second time, I think it is. Second or first time. Because the director itself will only output on one of the pauses. There's the start of it. Let me see, where is it? There you go. You can see stage 1 is triggered when the finale starts, and stage 2 is triggered by the first pause, which is when the tank turns up and ruins your day. On stage 3, you've got my little logic set, my little extra logic set over here, which actually triggers the core stage 3 machinery. All it does is count the number of tanks in the area that have arrived. If I zoom back, it's this one here. It's covered by a filter, so only the tank triggers it. So when the tank drops into the core room, it triggers, and that causes stage 3 to trigger, which is the alarms, extra steam jets, lights, all other kinds of shenanigans, as well as one of the wing things falling off. So that's why I adjusted stage 3 at first, because I assumed during the escape sequence that as more tanks were dropping in, it was actually causing this to refire. It turned out not to be the case. I then had an idea that it might be stage 2, because you can see the speed's set there as well. But rather than waste more time, I set this flag here, only trigger once, which seems to wipe out the problem. So I'm not going to bother investigating it anymore. That's that was that fixed. Made it look bit nicer. Everything goes white. You can hear the core exploding and winding down. It's pretty nice. And while testing this map as well, I was wandering around in versus mode. There was something, I came across something very strange with the doors. As an infected player, human player, in ghost mode, you can actually trigger these type of doors to open on their own. So it's quite literally a ghost door event. and I thought about leaving it in because it might be a bit fun or spooky to have these doors opening and closing by themselves as the survivor team's wandering around. But that still leaves the problems of the other infected getting through the doors, as well as giving the human team, survivor team, information as to where the infected players are. Another strange thing, it didn't actually work with all the doors, which was even stranger. It's one of those like hidden bugs that, well, when you see it first, you think, "Have I just lost my mind? Did I imagine it?" And no, I tested it pretty thoroughly. One of these doors didn't open when in ghost mode. The others did. So I went back to the original design in Half-Life, which was a simple trigger, which is when touched by any clients or any NPCs will open the doors. I've put these on all of them. So now they're no longer triggered by humans in ghost mode or human infected in ghost mode. But still, got the glass here, which is a breakable surface. That actually is still broken by players in ghost mode, some of them. So you're going to get the odd tinkle of glass every now and again, and possibly wondering where that came from. Could I finish that? Could I fix that? Maybe not easily. I suppose I could. No, I might. I think I'll leave that. One of the other nice things with the door set up like this, or having the doors at all, because you might think a human team, a human versus human game, it'd be a nuisance to have these doors opening and closing all the time. But the human survivors have a tendency to run through the whole map as fast as possible, and having these doors initially closed will slow them down just a bit, giving the infected team a little more chance to set up ambushes as they run through the map. One thing I had to do was to do with the control room, because I've got the control room door around here somewhere. This is actually set up to be closed in a standard campaign game, but the infected team has a problem with the tank and the witch being stuck behind this door here. So the survivors could just stand in the control room waiting for the human controlled tank to either switch to AI mode or just continually shoot it through the door here, which was no good. I experimented with having this door breakable, but that caused other problems, such as, well, it blocked the navigation mesh system, which caused it to be continually blocked. And the navigation system wouldn't actually complete properly and brought up an error message, so I had to go. So now when the game is switched into versus mode, all I do is unlock the door, allowing the human infected team to go through here if necessary. They might want to stay behind here and ambush them, but they're no longer restricted to it. There are actually options in a text file which deals with the position of both tank and witch in how they spawn. So you can have it, you can set it up so they might spawn just at the start of the map, or just at the end, and nowhere in or it's somewhere in between. So you've got a bit more control. I suppose I could have set it to spawn before the door, the final door there. But you have the problem with the tank being in a narrow corridor, making it harder to ambush and stuff. Another change which I've been doing in the last few days, a late minute change, again while testing it in versus mode. I was thinking about the human players coming into this room here, because there is not much to hide behind. Although the teleport positions are spaced out around the room, as you can see, there is a tendency to the camera to keep spinning on its own, which I hate so much, and I can't stop it. There is a tendency for the human team to be able to see the infected at all times. So you can imagine you spawn in here, immediately the survivor team can see you, and you can't even hide anywhere. I thought it might. I wasn't thinking it was too bad, because you're trying to ambush. Maybe one comes in here, another player comes in the other side here, and you're all trying to attack at the same time. I think it was probably a bit too hard to coordinate, even with my light systems out in the hallway. Up here, which they come on and off depending on where the teleporters will go, or to which exit point they would go. But you still get teleported in ghost mode as well, and it's not design breaking having some of the special infected hiding, say here or anywhere around here, and popping out and trying to ambush the survivor team. It also gives the tank a few more places to hide while its throw system recharges. And so I'll put these up here, and it's quite a nice feature in a way, sort of protecting the core from something, or for some reason, I don't know. You can make something up. They look reasonably cool. Did anyone say cool anymore? I don't know. Went out last century sometime. Right, so that's it. That's what I've been doing. There's been some other work on other maps to do with the visibility system, which is all the blue lines here, which optimize the viewing system for the player, so the less is drawn on the screen at once for graphic performance reasons. Some of the other maps were badly affected by this. Point inserts, there's loads of stuff to do on there to fix that. And I worked on Office as well, just general cleanup. And so that's it for now. Goodbye.